The Argos pulled off a landmark win on Saturday over North Alabama. Now the 10th-ranked Argos are in for a top 10 matchup with number 4 West Georgia on homecoming. Between men's and women's soccer, volleyball, and football, the Argos haven't lost in over a month. Can the streak stay alive over homecoming? With Hurricane Michael stirring things up along the Gulf Coast, we're getting ready for another exciting week in Argo athletics. The Coach Shinnick Show starts now. Well, when you're winning, there's a lot to talk about, so a lot to get to, and we'll start, of course, with football. As always, with head coach Pete Shinnick, I'm Tommy Thrall. Coach, great win to go up to North Alabama and pick up a win there. Now this week, it's going to be a tough test. You've got West Georgia, a top 5 team coming to town, so it's a top 10 matchup. You've got a Hurricane. It's homecoming. You always try to limit the distractions. Good thing there's none this week, right?
No doubt. Should be a simple, easy week. Nothing really to take our minds off of, just playing a game.
How do you build off that momentum over or after a big North Al win?
Well, I'm very pleased with, obviously, what our guys were able to do, and you just tell them that we still have areas of improvement. We still got areas we can get better at, and that's really, kind of the last couple weeks focusing on that, and I like how our guys have responded. Going to North Alabama, not many people have won in that stadium now. Not many people have wins at their place.
No, that's a tough place to play, Brawley Stadium, and of course, now that they're a Division I program, I feel like that makes it a little bit more exciting for you. So how did you guys assess that one?
Well, I felt like if we could play at the level we were playing throughout, the entire game, and it really was a full 60-minute game. Obviously, we didn't finish the way I would have liked. I felt like we could have gotten that game taken care of. Austin Williams did something uncharacteristic. He missed 2 field goals. That typically doesn't happen. But, kind of the way we assessed it was if we're in this thing and playing the way we're capable of, it's going to be that type of game. Now we get out of it and we go, all right, here's areas we can improve upon. Here's areas that we did really well. Now let's move on to another tough opponent.
Overall, pretty happy with it?
Extremely. And really, I think it's a great way to end the series. We end the North Alabama series with the Argonauts up 2-1 in that series. Don't plan on playing them again, so it's a great way to finish that thing off.
I was going to say, I don't think they'll be pounding down your door to try to get another game with you guys the way the last couple have gone. Let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights from this one to see how it all played out. And, going in, guys were pretty focused, and then they came out, punched you in the mouth right away.
Well, they did, and I think great compliment to us that they had to use trick plays to get the majority of the yardage. And I think anytime a team does that, they're worried about what they're going to face.
Austin Williams drilling the field goal.
Yeah.
The one he made.
The one he made, definitely.
Little chip shot there to get the Argos on the board. And then, how about Ezra Saffold from Sam Vaughn?
Well, Sam, great ball. Ezra just finds the way to use his speed to create separation. Phenomenal touchdown catch.
That game was tied at 10 before halftime. UNA would kick a field goal to go up by 3 after a turnover. Then Vaughn improvising a little bit here, using his legs.
Yeah, showing great athleticism there. Probably should have got sacked. He gave a pump fake, and then he was able to get a rushing touchdown. And then this really phenomenal catch, phenomenal throw. Quentin Randolph right there. That one really, obviously gave us the comfort that we needed in that game.
24-13 at that point. UNA would find the end zone again.
Tough drive there. They went about 10 plays, 80 yards. I felt like that was probably the best that they did. We felt like we had a first down, didn't get it, and then got the ball right back here on the muff punt.
And that was a big-time play. Of course, lost the opening kickoff after a really big return, fumble at the end of that play, and then last chance at the end. Did you think at any point that would be caught?
No, I didn't. And, Caleb Noble's up in the box was like he threw it out of the end zone as soon as it left his hand. He had a better view than I did. But, that drive really, I think, it's something that you can work on in practice and you can try to simulate that. But we needed a live experience in that, and just we're very thankful that it worked out for us.
24-19, 4th straight win. Sam Vaughn throwing for 172 yards in that one. Ezra Saffold with his 4th touchdown catch of the year. That's 4 in 5 games now for him and 2 straight. He also led the way with 56 receiving yards. After the game, Sam Vaughn and Quentin Randolph discussed that crazy catch in the back of the end zone.
That was incredible. I can't wait to go watch it. He made me look good because I thought I threw it out the back of the end zone.
I love to make the spectacular catch, the catches that people are like, man, how do you make that catch? Because all our receivers can do it. We work on it consistently throughout practice. We claim ourselves as the best in the nation. So when plays like that got to be made, you got to step up to the plate.
That was a great catch. Did you know he caught it right away? Did you know it was a catch?
I didn't. I was waiting, and I started looking at the backfield judge to see what he was going to do. He was staring it down. He didn't make the quick incomplete signal, and then I think he looked around and felt like he had it. So he's the only guy that matters.
And no debate from North Alabama on that play either.
No, they were a little irritated on the sideline, a little frustrated, I could tell. But once those hands go up, you're in good shape.
There's no turning back. What does a win like this against a Division I team do for the program?
Well, I think it just says, how far we've come and how much we've grown. And great credit to our coaches and our players for just continuing to learn and grow and get better. I told the team this at the end of the game. 2 years ago, we went up to that place, got beat 51-3. Last year, we beat them, but it was really their 3rd-string quarterback. That win kind of propelled us into the playoffs. But to beat an FCS team, a team that's beaten 2 FCS teams, a team that has more scholarships at their place, probably, again, one of the toughest D2 stadiums to play in the country. Very satisfying, shows great growth in the program, and really excited about where we're headed.
Certainly a great win. Have you ever wondered what it's like to travel with the football team? It's a lot of grown men packed into a couple of buses. Well, our Will Kennedy decided that sounded like fun, so he tagged along, and here's what he came up with.
What's the biggest challenge of moving all these people? From spot to spot?
Just getting everybody from point A to point B and making sure everything's prepared before they get here. That way we can run smoothly. The way the plan, we stick to it as much as we can.
Argo up. It's going to be a nice 5 hours and 30-minute drive. I'll get y'all there safe. All right, man? Say no problem. We might go to Arkansas this time, but it's just for something else, all right?
So the plan is to jump out in the parking lot, stretch, and get lunch.
This is the first time we've done this, but we're headed to a walkthrough right now, so trying to get there as fast as possible, but trying to make it sufficient, that way we can get prepared for when we get there. It's just a smooth process.
What's the most difficult part about, putting this many people out on the road, trying to take care of a group this big when you're traveling?
Just the random things that they forget, like knee pads. The NCAA came down hard on us on knee pads, the whole country. Cleats, sometimes a player will forget their cleats, say they have a blowout and they forgot a pair of cleats, just making sure they have the little things. But other than that, every game's a road game for me.
Everything that we're trying to do, the way we travel, the way we talk, the way we set things up, is really so that you can play great once a week.
Hey, Roger.
Down. Ready, set, hit.
We want when you get to the game, you feel like, man, I've been through this and I'm good.
All right, great stuff, Will. Thanks so much. It was a fun win at North Alabama. The offense and defense both took control of this game after an opening score from North Alabama. We'll talk with head coach Pete Shinnick when we come back about taking over this game.
We will never settle for the kiddie pool. We are destined for the vast ocean of opportunities that await us. We were born to make a splash. At the University of West Florida, you can make a discovery, make a difference, make a splash. So take a deep breath and dive in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
Water. It's life's most basic need. But there's a water crisis in our world right now. Nearly 1 billion people live without clean drinking water. About every 19 seconds, a mother loses one of her children to a water-related illness. The water crisis is vast, but we can solve it. Just $20 can provide one person with access to a clean water project in their village. CharityWater.org. Join us.
Welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. We're talking about the big win over North Alabama over the weekend. You look at that game, they come out, they score, march down the field, score in their first possession. It looked like they kind of scored with ease. You talked about they worked in some trick plays. And then you get the ball back, quick turnover, first play from scrimmage, and then your defense came up with a stop. How big was that at that point to come up with that stop after they had scored what looked like pretty easily on their first drive?
Yeah, I think our defense did a phenomenal job really on 2 occasions. I mean, that turnover, not getting any points, and then the turnover on the kickoff to just limit it to a field goal, because big momentum swings right there. Then our offense came out and really, I think, did what we needed to do in that time. Put together a long drive and get some points on the board.
Put together a long drive. It was 20 plays. That's about as long of a drive as you can have. How important was that?
I think it was a big turning point for us. We got the ball at the -2 yard line. So really the goal of any offense, they say, is get 2 first downs, change the field position. So to drive it from the 2 really to about the 5, we got them to jump off sides on a field goal attempt earlier, which kept the drive alive. So we were able to get a 4th down and then get an extra set of 3 downs. Love how our guys handled that, really throwing the ball, running the ball very well during that series.
It seemed like from the defensive stop to that drive, you guys really kind of took control of the game. What changed?
Well, I think we just needed to settle in a little bit. And again, we knew they were going to come out with a trick play. And sometimes when you're waiting on a trick play, you're thinking, okay, what's going to happen? This going to happen? Hey, is this it? Is this it? They hit 2 really good ones against us. They didn't have that success later on. They tried one on the 2-point conversion that Austin Dukes and Dre kind of snuffed out there and knew it was coming. I mean, I think our guys really just were able to get into a groove and play the way they're capable of playing.
You talked about playing 60 minutes. Was this the most complete game you feel like you guys have had this year?
I'll tell you, we were very good on special teams other than the turnover, but creating a turnover, getting the ball on the ground, obviously the punt return that they fumbled was very big for us. I still think there's a better side to our program. I still think there's another step that we're going to be able to capitalize on, and that's the fun part of the next half of the season. We get an opportunity to grow and get better.
Certainly an opportunity to take a big step this week against West Georgia. That's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a fun game to talk about as well a little bit later on in the show. Prior to heading up to Florence, Alabama, the football team got a surprise visit from Chaz Sublette. He's a huge Argos fan, and not just on the football field. He also helped Melissa Walter coach the Argo volleyball team to their 7th straight win on Friday. Will Kennedy has the story.
He just might be UWF's biggest fan. Chaz Sublette lived in the same neighborhood as UWF volleyball coach Melissa Walter, and the two formed a special bond.
He just has such an amazing, sweet spirit about him. I have a dog that I would walk all the time, and he would just love on her, and just so friendly, and I just really, he stole my heart.
But this Pensacola native was a die-hard Notre Dame football fan.
I had this idea, and I thought, well, it might be kind of fun to get him to go to a football game here, and so I had tickets in the President's Box last year, and so he was my guest. Oh, he had a blast.
Argo's offensive line coach Steve Saunier met Chaz at a volleyball match, and a plan was hatched.
Happened to see him last week when the Argos were home playing volleyball, and saw him on the court after the game, and went up and introduced myself, and Coach Walters happened to be close by and invited him to practice.
It all led to an epic 40th birthday weekend.
It was great. Yes.
Special guest at an Argo football practice.
Just how excited he was, the elation he showed. I just love the passion he has for UWF athletics. So it was really awesome to see. Like I said, a lot of times you think, we're blessing him, but he really blessed us today. It was so awesome.
Then guest coach at a volleyball match with a surprise birthday party after.
The gym, the practice of the football team, and the volleyball part.
And it's not just Chaz who gets the win in this relationship. UWF student athletes are forming forever bonds with this special Argo superfan.
Anytime we can pay forward, and make someone's day because of what we do is amazing. It really is.
It makes you think. It makes you stop, and whatever is going on in your world that might seem tough or hard, you get around Chaz and you forget all of it, because he is just full of life and full of joy, and shouldn't we all be?
Thanks, Will. Well, program-wide, the Argos just keep on rolling. Both soccers, volleyball, they haven't lost in over a month. Plus, you factor in football. We recap another thrilling week in Argo athletics when we come back. This is the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
We are not here to drift. We were born to move, to change, to jump in, dive deep, make waves, break through. We were born to splash. The University of West Florida is America's best university for making a splash. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
Welcome back to the Coach Shinnick Show. More with Coach in a bit, but first we check in on soccer. We start with the men. The weekend started with a titanic defensive struggle with Lee. Both teams finished in a 0-0 draw. The Argos had chances and outshot the Flames 21-10, but couldn't get one past Daniel Hrenko. The Argos defense did a nice job and made life easy for Jacob Murray. He had to make just 3 saves in the shutout. The offense had little trouble breaking through on Sunday against Shorter in the 5-0 win. The Argos used 5 different goal scorers, including one from Sean Hofstetter. He's tied for the GSC lead now with 11 goals on the season. Bill Elliott, your thoughts?
If you're going to have a good season or a great season, you need players to make plays, and Jacob came up big, and he bailed us out in a moment when we were in trouble and probably propelled us forward to the victory.
Sure, the men are currently on an 8-game unbeaten streak, but the women are riding high too. A lot of that success has to do with freshman Peyton Peffers from just down the road in Panama City. Due to injuries, she's seen a little more time this year than anyone really anticipated, but it's worked out. She's the Argos' leading goal scorer.
We were able to throw Peyton in right away against Carson Newman and others, and that was a true test. When someone's out, someone has to step up, and when she got her first opportunity in that first game, she stepped up and helped us.
Coming in, I didn't think I was going to get a lot of playing time and just like much use to the team, but as we've been going on, I've been more like comfortable like the past couple of games of like getting used to like how we play. Everyone on the team has been so great helping me out, telling me what to do, not getting frustrated when we get confused.
In that first 3 weeks of preseason, the seniors told them their expectations, and this group listened, and you don't always have that. We've had it a lot of times because, again, you're not going to have success without that.
I'm like more comfortable in the way I play now, and I'm not. When I first came, I was really like timid and I didn't want to like go out of my comfort zone. But now, like everyone has pushed me out of my comfort zone.
As you get later in the season, they're no longer freshmen. They're getting more to where they've had a whole year underneath their belt. We're not there yet, but they've got the experience as we go forward.
I'm not scared as much like playing in the game and just with practice and stuff. Everyone on the team is like really open to like helping us. It's been exciting, it's been different. I wasn't expecting it to happen this weekend, but it's fun.
She's coming off getting named National Player of the Week for her 2 goals and an assist against AUM. Peffers and the Argos picked up 2 more wins over the weekend to stretch their win streak to 12. Friday, they were locked in a tight one with Lee. Just over 22 minutes into the game, Sam Warham put one in the net from Grace Busby for the game's only goal. Sunday was a little easier. Joe Bartlinski's team bested Shorter 4-0. Peffers scored just 2 minutes into the game, and the Argos never looked back. For Peffers, it was her 7th goal of the season. Hannah Wooten had a strong second half with her first and second goals of the year. Coach Bart on the weekend.
A good way we finished the game. Shorter did a fantastic job of defending. They're very well coached. We just kept trying to work our system. That was the talk at the halftime. Make sure we're playing the way we're supposed to play. Pick up the effort, but Shorter made it very difficult, and so it's a good win for us. And now it's on to the next game.
Both Sockers are home this weekend on Friday and Sunday with homecoming matches against West Al and Alabama Huntsville. Volleyball stretched their win streak to 8 with weekend wins over Lee on Friday and Shorter on Saturday. Friday was a hard-fought match with the Argos having to rally from a 1-0 deficit after the first set to win 3-1. Jordan Poppin led the match with 16 kills, one of 3 Argos in double-figure kills with Mackenzie Chrisman and Nadine Williams. The Argos swept Saturday against Shorter. Makila York led the way with 14 kills for the Argos. Williams had a big match on Saturday with 12 kills and 4 blocks. Melissa Walter enjoyed the weekend after surviving Friday's tough match.
This was a big one for us, especially because last night was a super emotional day and obviously a really tough match. And to come back less than 12 hours later and play another great opponent, that's just really hard to do. So I knew this was going to be a tough one.
In the pool, the Argos took the Divers up to Tuscaloosa, where they battled Alabama and fell to the Crimson Tide 16-2, despite third and fourth place finishes on each board. The Swimmers performed well over at the two-day Shark Invitational in Fort Lauderdale. The team finished second overall. The Argos won the 400 medley relay. Esther Rossetto and Morgan Ayers were part of that winning relay team and each picked up individual wins as well. Let's shift the focus back to football, shall we? Chris Schwarz is the third leading rusher in the GSC and has had to work hard for his 512 yards this season. He's also one of only 3 backs in the GSC with over 500 yards. He's averaging almost 7 a carry, and he's in studio with us now. How are you, Chris?
Doing well. How you doing?
Hey, it's great to have you here. I'm doing well, and I know this has been a fun season for you. It's probably been a little bit of grind because you have to battle, but you're more than just a football player. How are you able to balance the academics? You finished with the highest GPA of any male athlete last year. That's not easy to do as an athlete, period, especially in the grind of a football season.
Yeah, it's tough. You know, coming in freshman year, it was definitely tough changing, getting used to the workload and everything. But, I learned to adjust and manage my time well, and it's paid off for me.
You got a lot of plates spinning in the air right now because you're playing football. You also trade stocks during the day, and you're a great student.
Yes, sir.
How do you manage all that, and how'd you get into stocks?
Well, I've always had a fascination for money. You know, I had a business in high school in my freshman year, and I've always had a fascination for the stock market, and I trade it when I can in between classes and in the mornings before football and everything. So I just kind of all make it work.
You have a favorite stock you're always keeping an eye on?
I guess Apple. Apple's always moving, doing something. So.
What was the business?
I sold phone cases and like stylus pens and stuff on eBay and Amazon.
Really?
Yep, for about three years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Got you through high school. That's
Yes,
not a bad little side job when it's your own business, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't have to worry about the part-time employees.
Right.
Talk about the growth of the offensive line that you've seen. That's helped kind of spring you as a running back. What have you seen out of those guys?
Well, them being together for another year this year, it's been amazing. The steps that they've taken, they continue to get better each and every day, every week. And they're always hungry for more. And I think that's the biggest part of it is they want to keep getting better, and they love being around each other in this team. And it's really, like I said, it's paid off for us, and we're getting better each week.
Everybody associates the relationship with the offensive line and the quarterback, but I got to feel like it's almost just as strong with you guys as running backs as well.
Yeah. I mean, we're a tight-knit group. We like being around each other, and we're running the ball more than ever, so we're getting close.
What are you looking for before the ball snap, before the ball's in your hands? Are you sizing up the defense? Are you looking at maybe blocking packages on the line? What's going through your mind?
Yeah, that's kind of something that I've changed this year. I've learned to look at the defense and analyze, not just know what the play is and where I'm supposed to go, but analyze the defense and see what they're in and try to anticipate where that hole is going to be. So I've been trying to work on that, and I've done that a lot more this year.
Last year, it seemed like you made the most progress in the playoffs. What a time to really take leaps and bounds forward against some of the toughest opponents you've seen. What was it? What changed for you? What adjustments did you make?
I just try to go to work every single day and try to get better, and I just think it kind of clicked for me. Watching that defense, towards the end of the playoffs and growing and becoming a better football player. And like I said, that O-line continues to get better and makes it easier for me to hit that hole. And they've done a great job, and I'm excited to be behind them.
I know you've always got an area where you're supposed to run. How often or at what point do you realize when the ball's in your hands, okay, now I've got to improvise and make something happen?
Sometimes, going through the first quarter and second quarter, we have to make a few changes and just seeing where those holes are going to develop. And we kind of get a feel for that going into the second half, and that's when things normally open up for us.
Exciting week. West Georgia, top 10 matchup. Plus, you've got homecoming this week. Little bit of schedule adjustment with the Storm. I know it's going to be a fun, exciting week for you, so good luck.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right, that's Chris Schwarz. We've got plenty more with head coach Pete Shinnick. Like I said, it's homecoming, a top 5 matchup with West Georgia as they come knocking. We preview the Dance with the Wolves next with head coach Pete Shinnick on the Coach Shinnick Show on the UWF Sports Network.
The world is our ocean, And we are here to make a splash, to dive deep, to create, to develop, to break through. At the University of West Florida, there's no limit to how you can make a splash. Don't just sit on shore, jump in. The University of West Florida. How will you make a splash?
Water. It's life's most basic need. But there's a water crisis in our world right now. Nearly 1 billion people live without clean drinking water. About every 19 seconds, a mother loses one of her children to a water-related illness. The water crisis is vast, but we can solve it. Just $20 can provide one person with access to a clean water project in their village. CharityWater.org. Join us.
Welcome back into the Coach Shinnick Show. Time to preview West Georgia. Should be a fun one. I look at their defense. They seem pretty stingy.
They are probably one of the better defenses statistically in the country right now. Really do a lot of things very well, play a lot of man coverage, really crowd the running game. So it'd be a great test for us.
You guys did a great job against Willie Candler last year. Their quarterback, obviously back again, very experienced. Is he doing anything differently this year?
I just think he's a little better than he was a year ago. And, I mean, he was one of the top quarterbacks in the conference last year. I felt like Coach Doolin and our defensive staff and defensive players really did a good job, holding up against him. We're going to need that same type of effort this year because their offense is probably playing better than they were a year ago. And, an undefeated team, you got to give them a lot of credit for finding a way week in and week out to, get a victory.
You've played them 3 times now, twice at the end of last year. Obviously, the regular season finale, that wild win at their place. Thought you just flat out beat them at their place in the playoffs after they crushed us in year one.
Sure.
So I've got to feel like they're probably pretty hungry as well. So this seems like a recipe for just an explosive football game.
I think so. And I mean, if I'm them, we're the ones who kept them, from advancing. They had played well in the first round and had that opportunity. We got them in the second round. We're half of their losses. I think they had 4 losses last year. We were half of them. So there's obviously probably something on their part. And I just think, this conference is going to come down to probably 3 or 4 schools every year. West Georgia, was one of those schools that when we started, it was like, okay, we've got to get up to their level. And, the first time they played us, they beat us 69-0. So to make the strides that we made last year, to be in the position that we were, we knew the type of program they were coming in, and now we're trying to continue to, be one of the top programs in this conference.
They also seem to be getting it done, not just with Candler's arm, but also Devontae Jackson's doing a nice job on the ground, averaging around 6.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's as dynamic as there is in the offense or in the league offensively. He was Offensive Player of the Year last year in the Gulf South Conference. He is dynamic. He touches the ball. Great things, have the possibility of happening. We got to corral him. We got to contain him, and we got to keep him limited in what he's doing.
You don't want to give away too much. Are there some things you do? Are there some looks you try to shake up to control him a little bit, neutralize him a bit?
Well, I think what you saw in the second half of what we were able to do against North Alabama, we're a moving, attacking defense. We got to continue to do that. I love our defensive game plan. Love how, each week we come up with a new wrinkle, something that is just going to keep people off guard. We've got to do that, and we got to be at our best to beat. They're worthy of their ranking, and they're one of the best teams we've seen all year.
Top 10 matchup, the Hurricane, plus you've got homecoming. There's a lot going into this game. Should be a huge crowd. How much does that get everybody fired up on a week like this?
Well, I hope our guys are fired up. They've been great on the road. We've done a great job, bringing that. We love our home crowd at Wahoo Stadium. We love the energy that they bring. And, it looks like the storm's going to pass. We just got to get through the next couple of days and get things done that we need to get done. But we're looking for a great weather at kickoff.
How does that alter the practice schedule?
Not sure yet, but we'll work on that and see. We'll find a way to get it done, and our guys are pretty resilient. They've been able to handle a couple of these storms over the last couple of years, and I don't think that's affected us much.
Unfortunately, plenty of practice at this. From a health standpoint, everybody getting back and pretty close to 100%?
Yeah, we are. I think for, where we are this late in the season, really pleased with what our, health situation looks like. I think guys are feeling good. Again, I think we're stronger than we've ever been. I think we're ready to, get after this last half of the season.
All right, Coach. Sounds good. Have a good one this week.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's all we got for you this week. Both soccers are at home. Friday and Sunday matches at the pitch. Of course, football kicks off at 6 o'clock. We'll be on the air at 5:30 with the Argonaut pregame show on ESPN Pensacola. This game is also the GSC Game of the Week, and you can watch it on ESPN3. Well, that does it for the Coach Shinnick Show this week. My thanks to head coach Pete Shinnick and our entire crew. I'm Tommy Thrall. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.